fight between an angel and Satan? It's in Jude 1:9, and it's simply mind-blowing. But what's even more interesting is how the battle was waged, because that's the key to winning your own spiritual battles. Why did Michael the Archangel battle Satan with mere words? What right did Satan have to Moses' body? The solutions to these questions can redefine how you approach every problem in life. This celestial conflict isn't a faraway moment in history. It's a heavenly template that runs from the Garden of Eden all the way to your current struggles. So why should you care? Picture this. You're standing face to face with your greatest enemy, armed with nothing but your words. Sounds impossible, right? But what if that's exactly what you need to win? Get ready, because we're about to uncover a spiritual strategy that could transform your life. If you're ready to see your battles in a whole new light, type "I am ready" in the comments. And let's begin. Now envision a distant valley in Moab. Moses, the mighty leader of Israel, has just breathed his last. His followers stand at the threshold of the promised land, but their dearest guide will never tread there. Why? Because God himself intervenes to bury Moses. However, in that holy moment, something goes amiss. An unseen conflict rages in the spiritual world. Two mighty figures engage in battle over the corpse of Moses. Standing on one side is Michael, the powerful archangel. Standing on the other is Satan, the accuser. Can you imagine it? Heaven and hell fighting amongst themselves over the corpse of mortals. But why? What was so special about Moses' corpse that it would attract so much attention from the spiritual world? This silent war holds within it something of profound depth, a pattern that resonates perfectly into your life. Jude 1:9 shows only a hint of this war, yet it raises within us serious questions. Why couldn't Michael have annihilated Satan then and there? Why was Satan so obsessed with a corpse? The why of these answers is a spiritual secret known by few, but reserved by God to unveil as spiritual facts in these revelations. Facts regarding your power in the wars of the Spirit. To grasp this, we have to examine Moses more closely. Why was Moses so significant that God buried him himself? Why was his corpse a trophy in the spiritual universe? And what does this eternal struggle have to do with your everyday struggles? As we dive in deeper, we'll understand that this tale isn't all about Moses. It's about you and the unexploited potential you hold. Potential that strikes fear in the enemy's heart. But to really know it, we have to look at why Moses was chosen apart. Moses talked with God face to face, as comfortably as friends. This wasn't a dream in his mind. It was actuality. Exodus 33:11 informs us, "The Lord would speak to Moses face to face, as one speaks to a friend." That familiarity made Moses possessive of a spiritual authority, but with that great privilege, there was a great cost. At Meribah, when the people were thirsty and griping, God instructed Moses to tell the rock to give water. Instead, frustrated, Moses smote the rock twice. Water came, but God was displeased. Why? Because Moses disobeyed precisely what God had commanded. Indeed, below is a revised and polished version of the second half of your tale. I have maintained the strength and spiritual wisdom, but ensured the pace was smoother and the message clearer. Trusting in God sometimes involves doing as minor an act as talking to a rock. But when Moses disobeyed and hit the rock instead, God informed him he would never enter the promised land. Severe? It sounds like it at first, but this incident shows us something very important about faith and leadership. Moses was not only a man obeying God, he was acting as God's representative to the people. When he lost his temper, he misrepresented the character of God. Yet Moses was consistent to the very end. so consistent indeed that God buried him personally. His corpse became more than mere remains. It became a testament to God's promises, triumphs, and presence with Israel. But things get really fascinating here. If Moses' body was so spiritually significant, why did God conceal it? And why did Satan crave it so urgently? The answers to these questions reveal a compelling reality about spiritual warfare that few see. Michael and Satan weren't battling over a corpse. They were battling over influence, legacy, and worship. And what we can learn from their struggle can revolutionize how we live today. Consider it. Moses was Israel's finest leader. He brought God's law, took them out of bondage, and spoke face to face with God. To Satan, that was a chance in the making. If he could obtain Moses' body, he could pervert its meaning, perhaps even use it as an idol. Recall the golden calf? The people were worshiping it while Moses was away. What if Satan had taken Moses' body as an emblem? It might have become the ultimate idol, leading people away from God and towards man-made worship. Moses' body in the wrong hands might have undone all that God had constructed. This shows us an essential fact. Satan doesn't merely tempt us with plain evil. Often he corrupts the good things around us. He turns what God has given us into distractions, idols, or even pitfalls. Ask yourself, what are the good things in your life that could become idols if you're not careful? A relationship, a job, success, even ministry? Satan targets what God values most. In Moses' time, it was God's covenant with his people. Today, it's your relationship with him. This battle in ancient times is not history alone. It's a spiritual warning. Now and then, the enemy won't come against your weak spots. No, he comes against your strong points. He grabs what is good and distorts it. But have courage. God wasn't caught off guard. He had a plan, a guardian, a warrior. Michael the Archangel stood in the gap. The Prince of Heaven's armies stood up to Satan, not with guns, but with words. And that's what makes this story so compelling. Michael didn't argue, accuse, or yell. He just said, "The Lord rebuke you." That was sufficient, not because the words were loud, but because they bore divine authority. Here's the truth: the same spiritual authority is available to you. Yes, you. You don't have to yell louder than your opponent. You must stand in God's truth. The strength to fight Satan comes not from you, but from the one who battles on your behalf. The next time you are spiritually attacked, ask, is the devil attempting to turn something good in my life? Am I making a blessing greater than the one who gave it to me? These are tough questions, but they need to be asked, because awareness is the precursor to victory. God will always have a champion standing, and sometimes that champion is you. When you walk in his authority, speak his truth, and trust him with the fight,